Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Normally, this show would be on Thursday nights. We had to do this one on Friday. I've had a heck of a week, and let me tell you a little bit about that. But before I do, let's give a shout out to all the channel members. There's 30 of them right now currently. Let's start with the original one and work our way up to the most recent one. Starting off, we've got Ramon, sorry. I'm exhausted. You'll see why in a minute. Ramon, Robbie Ross, Corey Oatley, Midlife Trucker, Red Raider Reloading, Randy's Road Life, KC, a trucker named Tim, Smaller Holler, Oaser DM, Roger Berry, RGB, Brian Walton, Mark Ely, 18 Wheeler, Jordan B, Tracy H Man, Davenport Family, Josh Burton, Asphalt Jungle, Shane Lee, Grafton, Daniel N., PT Bullet Boy Gaming, Scorpion Trucker, Truckers Education, Ohioan Trucker, Armando Perez, and finally Skyhook Trucker. And speaking of Skyhook, I did a deal. It's been going a few weeks now where I was showing I was calling them the Trucker Todd tuggers. They were air horn tuggers. Kind of like if you've got a Peterbilt or a Kenworth, it's got the little leather tug strap that you tug your air horn with. Well, my good friend John Toohey's been making some, and he sent me one. He's actually sent me several of them, and I've showed them on the channel. One specially made for me that said Trucker Todd. One that my wife fell in love with and she really wanted. So then she said, "Hey, because she's a cancer survivor, she said, can you make me a pink one that I can use as a keychain?" Now the hook on them is designed to hook to your on the ones I've shown so far anyway, is designed to hook to your air horn, so that when you yank on it, it'll pull it right and correct and everything. This one, she said, since she wanted to use it as a keychain, he made it as a keychain. I wanted to show it because it's really one of my favorites that I've seen so far. And then I'll tell you about my week, and we'll get into some of y'all's comments and things like that. But check this out. She wanted pink. It's really, really nice. I don't know how much all of this is showing up because of my virtual. Let me take the virtual background off for a second. It'll make it a lot clearer. Alrighty. There we go. It's not as messy as in here as I thought, so this may be okay. See that? I thought this one came out really well. And they never come out as good on camera as what they are in person. And then here's the color matching ring that he put on it for her keys. And so big shout out to John Toohey, and also known as Skyhook Trucker on here. If you're interested in something, the reason I brought all that up is he can make custom things. So if you didn't like one of the ones I've shown, or perhaps you don't like the one that I've shown tonight, reach out to Skyhook, and he can discuss with you pricing and customization and things like that. But my wife really likes this one. I said, don't use it till I can get it in a video. And we knew I was on my way home for a doctor's appointment. So let me tell you about that. So I was on my way to pick up a load, and well, let me back up a little more. I booked 3 loads with this one broker that was going to keep me busy for a few days and get me back to Lubbock for a doctor's appointment. I went to pick up the first one. I got it delivered. I drove to the second stop, picked up the load. They took forever. And I was still going to be okay. I had about 4 or 5 hours of free time in there for problems, surprises, things like that. I pull over to go to the bathroom, grab something to eat, all those kind of fun things. and I notice I've got a flat on my trailer, and there's a nail right square in the middle of the tread, and a pretty big nail. And so I was at a Love's. I went in. They said, "Hey, it's going to take about an hour and a half before we can do your flat repair." And I said, "Okay, I'm still fine. I still got several hours." I said to myself, I didn't tell them that. And so anyway, about 3 hours later, I walked back in there and I was like, "Hey, I'm going to have to do something different if we can't get this flat fixed. I got to go. I got to go deliver this load, this second load." And so they, yeah, pull it in, pull it in. Anyway, long story short, they got the flat repaired with about 30 minutes for me to spare. So I took off from the Loves. I was going down uh, the highway and get over to mile marker 604 on Interstate 10, right outside of San Antonio. And they've had an accident, and the interstate's shut down. And there's a detour, but because of all the traffic, it's like a long wait. So I called the broker. I said, "Hey, I'm going to be about 30 minutes late with this load." Told them about the accident, everything. They said, "Okay, no problem. Just get there as quick as you can. We'll call the receiver and let them know what's going on." Well, of course, I get there. They did not call the receiver. The receiver did not know what's going on. And they said, "Well, we'll still take it. We'll still work you in, but it may be a while." Well, I thought it was okay because my next load, my third and final load, which was going to get me to Sweetwater, Texas, and then I was going to deadhead home from there. Um, so anyway, they unload me. It takes a few hours. I get out of there. I go to Marble Falls, Texas, where I was going to pick up the next load. Get there at about 2:30 in the morning. Now, on my dispatch from the broker and on my rate con and everything, it said that the shipper was there from 12:30 at night till 7:30 in the morning. So you would think that being there at 2:30 a.m., I would be perfect. So I get there. There's nobody there. I say nobody there. There was a few hopper bottoms there that were dropping product off, but no vans, no docks, no nothing like that I could see. So I called the broker. I said, "Hey, I'm here, but I'm the only one." "Ah, that can't be." I said, "Well, I Googled the number for this place, called them. Nobody answered either." They said, "Well, let us give them a call." So they called. They couldn't get anybody. I said, "What would you like me to do?" They said, "Well, sit there for a couple hours. Let's see if we can find somebody or if somebody shows up." I said, "Okay." About an hour and a half later, they said, "Hey, we can't get a hold of anybody either. Why don't you go to the truck stop, the nearest truck stop, and give us a couple more hours?" So I said, "Okay." I went to the truck stop and I sat there for a couple hours and nobody ever called me back. By this time, it's 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, something like that. And I've been awake for a while. Now, I hadn't been driving during that time. I'm sitting, so I'm not a danger to myself or anybody else, but still, I'm pretty wore out at this point. And they said, "Well, we've decided we're going to pay you a TONU, TONU, truck ordered, not used." And they said, "But our people that do that come in the morning. And so you're going to have to just wait. We'll call you in a few hours." I said, "All right, I'm going to go to sleep, but I'll leave my ringer on the broker phone so that when they call, I'll get their call." Well, long story short, they never called. So Scott calls me about 12:30 or 1 o'clock that afternoon. I'm just waking up. And he says, "Hey, have you talked to the broker yet about that TONU?" And I said, "No, they hadn't called me yet. I'm getting ready to call them." He says, "All right, well, let me know if I can help. Let me know what they say, all that stuff." So I call them. They said, "Well, look, we're going to look into it. Give us 30 minutes." Nobody has filled out a report, which is contrary to what the two previous brokers told me. Both of them told me they had done a report. So anyway, about 30 minutes later, I get an email from them. They say, "We're denying your TONU claim." And it says, "Reason is we called the shipper and they said they were there last night. And I emailed them back and I said, well, if they were there last night, why weren't you guys able to reach them on the phone? Why wasn't I able to reach them on the phone? And I went into kind of I said, you got tracking on me. I was there for over an hour looking for them. I was like, why wasn't any of us able to reach them? And after a while, they ended up paying me the TANU. But now I've got another problem. That was my load that was supposed to take me to Sweetwater, Texas, which gets me a lot closer to home. The truck stop I'm at is in Round Mountain, Texas, which is about 12 miles from where that shipper was. That was the nearest truck stop. And so I've got a choice: cancel a doctor's appointment or deadhead home at this point. So I elected to deadhead home, a little over 300 miles. It was not something I looked forward to or something I was happy about. Sometimes you have to do it if you've got something important at home. I've had to do about the same distance from Fort Worth to Lubbock before. Sometimes it's a necessary evil. Anyway, I get home last night, which is why I wasn't able to do a video tonight. It was super late. I get up early this morning. I go to the doctor. And let me tell you about my doctor for a second. My doctor has this deal that it emails you and texts you constantly, reminding you about your appointment. They do a pre-check-in online. You put in all your insurance information, all of that. Well, I get there today and they go, oh, there's a problem with your insurance. And I said, how is that possible? You've had all this information all this time. You've been emailing me and texting me at least twice a day about this appointment. And they said, well, I don't know. Somehow we've got a problem with your insurance. We're trying to call them. We can't get anybody on the phone. And I said, well, it's a new year. I hadn't been to the doctor in the month of January. They've probably changed my policy number or something like that. I said, can I just go ahead and pay my copay? I even got on the app, showed them, said, hey, the insurance is still active. And they's like, nope, we've got to get an authorization number for them before we can proceed. Now, I've been going here a couple of years now, so it's not like it's my first time there. They barely met me. And so I said, well, how about this? Why don't I just pay cash for the office visit today, and then I'll settle up with the insurance? Oh, well, if you do that, you got to do a $200 deposit plus the office pay plus all of this. I said, wait a second, I've been going here 2 years and I've got to go through all this hassle when I've showed you I've got insurance, and the problem is you can't reach them on the phone to get an authorization number you need. Yep, we've got to have that, or we can reschedule you. Now, I've been to the doctor 4 times in the last 6 weeks, and I was not about to come back for a 5th time. I told them, or I had told my wife that today when I got there, I was going to tell them I wasn't coming back for at least 6 months. And so I was already upset that they keep bringing me in. I believe that it's because of these tough economic times. They're trying to generate revenue for the office. I've got really good Blue Cross Blue Shield, and I think that they just see a cash cow there and they're trying to make money. And so I told her that I would not be rescheduling, and if we couldn't get me seen, if I couldn't pay some amount of money and be seen today, that I'd just go somewhere else. And so they decided fine, and I walked out of there mad. And so now, not only did I not see the doctor today, but now I don't have a doctor. I've got to find another doctor. But I mean, I didn't even know what today's appointment was for. They did blood work. I think she said on December 10th. And then towards the end of December, they did blood work. I think December 27th, they did blood work again, 3 more tests. Don't know what they were for. And she said that that they were just going to read me the results of that blood test, that second blood test. And I'm like, well, could we not have emailed that to me? Could we not do a teleconference or something like that? Do I gotta totally put my life on hold and come in for a very minor blood test that we don't even know really what it's for. And she's like, I don't know. They just wanted to see you. And so, anyway, I'm pretty frustrated with my doctor too. And so I'll be looking for another one. I think what I need is I need another small town doctor. I had one that was in Pittsburgh, Texas, and he died. And that's what I need. I need another small town doctor. I don't need one of these big city doctors that's got a lot of overhead and they're just trying to meet a financial quota. But anyway, enough of my drama and madness. Let's hop into some of your comments and say hello to everybody. Let's get down here. Looks like the first one here today was Jordan B. He's a channel member. He says, hey, and waves at everybody. A lot of people ask, why do I read the comments and put them on the screen? It's because many of you, guys like Skyhook Trucker, guys like Trucking with Tim, or a trucker named Tim, I mean, a lot of those guys are driving and they're just listening. And so I do that so that they can mentally participate in the show, even though they can't visually participate in the show. So that's why I read the comments and put them on the screen for kind of everybody's benefit. Also, I've got some hearing impaired people that listen to the show that are watching with closed captioning. And so I do it for their benefit as well. That's why they're on the screen and I read them out and things like that. Gary Cook says, hello, listening from Columbia, South Carolina. Man, I would love to go out that way right now. I just hadn't been over there in a long time. I've been doing a lot of Texas, New Mexico, Colorado, a little bit of Oklahoma, and I'd like to kind of spread my wings and go out a little further. Hopefully I can do that here pretty soon. And channel member Robbie Ross says, hiya, friends, on a reset in Albert Lee, Minnesota. He texted me that earlier today, and I asked him if it was cold up there, and I don't know if he saw my comment or not. I just, this time of year, I associate Minnesota with coldness. And channel member Roger Berry saying hi to the Gorilla Gang. For those that don't know, the Gorilla Gang is a little term we come up with. Actually, I believe Cassius King came up with it for our channel members that we just read a minute ago. I believe there's 30 of them now. If you would like to get more information about being a channel member, right below the screen, there's a button that says join. You can click that button and it'll give you more information. I believe it's about $5 a month. It does support the channel. It doesn't all go to YouTube. A lot of it does, but not all of it. And so I do appreciate when y'all do that. It gets you the neat little icon beside your name, like you see on Roger Berry's there. And it changes colors and design the longer that you're a channel member. Now, some of the perks of that, you get your name out at the start of the show. You get the little icon by your name. And there's usually some exclusive content. We haven't had any lately. I've been getting kind of chewed out a little bit about that. I'm working on that. If you've got ideas for things you'd like me to talk about, videos you'd like me to do, other than about my truck, I'm going to do that as soon as the weather's a little better. Right now, as I'm speaking to you, it's raining here. And so obviously it's not the ideal conditions to do a walk around on a truck when it's raining outside. Also, you know, you track water and mud in the truck when it's raining. So it's just best to do it when it's sunny and 75. But as soon as we get a little bit better weather, there will be some of that exclusive content. It'll go to the channel members first, and then a few days later, it'll go out to everybody else. And if you guys got anything specific that you'd like to see me do a recorded video about, please, please, please email me at todd@truckertodd.net. Also, while we're in this vein, we might as well talk about, while you're looking below the screen for that join button, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. That also helps the channel a lot. Make sure you're still subscribed. YouTube likes to unsubscribe people. And share this video with your social media platforms. That also helps a lot. Also, there is, you'll see super chats and stuff coming here sometimes. If that's something you're interested in doing, there's a little dollar sign uh, right beside where you put your chat comments. You can do it there. You can also gift memberships to other people. Midlife Trucker does it quite a bit. I believe he's given away like 7 or 10 of them so far. He's been real supportive of the channel, and we appreciate him. And so, if any of those things interest you, please take a look at those. Also, in the ticker below your screen, you'll see my email, you'll see the website, and you'll see SRO Logistics email if you've got your own truck and you'd like more information about coming over here and working with me. All right, that's enough of the housekeeping stuff. Let's jump back into some more comments. Speaking of Midlife Trucker, channel member, home time in the smallest incorporated city in the great state of Georgia. All right, trivia question. I don't know the answer, so what is the smallest incorporated city in the great state of Georgia? Let's see if anybody knows without the use of Google. A trucker named Tim, channel member, is here. And Mr. Skyhook Trucker, who made the deal for my wife, said hello from just south of Loveland, Colorado at the Loves. Man, and I'm usually in that area. It's too bad we weren't up there. I'd like to see you again, buy you a hamburger or something. And channel member Randy's Road Life, I need to give him a call. He tried to call me earlier today and I missed his call. He's sitting in Chicago waiting to get loaded. Picking up pipe, going to Texas. Where at in Texas? And Skyline says, "What's up, Todd? I'll be watching. Good deal, sir. Thank you for being here." Skyhook Trucker channel member says Vona, Colorado to be exact. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And Brian Walton channel member says, "What's up, bud? Not much, man. I was not planning to be home tonight, and a good friend of mine, a real good friend of mine, said he's going to be in Lubbock probably Sunday for part of a day, and I was not expecting to be in town. I was like, man, you're going to just miss me. I'm planning to leave out Friday afternoon after my doctor's appointment, and so I guess I need to get in contact with him, or I think he's listening to the show right now. Yeah, the odds are looking better that I may be able to see him Sunday unless I get a good load out of here or something on Saturday, which is pretty unlikely. The normal loads I do out of Lubbock are Monday through Friday type deals, unless I do a mail run or something like that. But anyway, I'll get with him and we'll try to see if we can put something together. And Ramon, channel member, says, "What's up, Mr. Todd?" Not much, sir. Let me get down here to everybody. No Fears channel member says, "Oh no Fear is not a channel member. He's a moderator." Says, "Hello everyone. Hello No Fear." And let me take a drink of Coke Zero before we go any further. Actually, I don't even know what I'm drinking. That's Diet Dr. Pepper. My brain is scrambled. P.U. Patel. That's what I meant to say. Hello, Trucker Todd and chat. Hello, P.U. Patel. Life on 18 Wheels. How are you doing, Todd? I'm doing great, man. I was a little zombified yesterday because, like I said, I stayed up waiting on that broker. And it's a broker that if I said their name, you'd know who they are. They're famous for not wanting to pay detention, not wanting to pay layover, and things like that. And so that's I was surprised I got it, to be honest, but I did. Let's see here. No Fear says that's nice. Yes, sir. And then Joe Bananas with the sunglasses and the flexing of the muscles. Josh McLean. Hey, Trucker Todd, glad to see you're back on live. We missed you. Ah, thank you. I actually miss you guys too. I like doing these. Some of you have said you wished I could do them 7 nights a week, and I wish I could too. It's not possible right now. 2 times a week is pretty hard. Some people have suggested I cut back to once a week, and that way I can do more recorded videos. I really think there's enough of me to go around. Here's the problem. I've made almost 500 videos since I've been on YouTube. And after a while, you just run out of ideas. And that's where I'm really counting on you guys to give me ideas to talk about. And some of you have suggested doing news stories, and I don't mind doing those. And occasionally I do them because this is a news and opinion channel. The problem with news stories is honestly me. When I read a news story, I immediately think, well, they've probably already heard about it, or I don't know if I can make it interesting enough that they'd want to watch. And a lot of times people do want to hear my take on it because it's usually different than what other YouTubers think about it or say about it, and they kind of want my perspective on it. So I just need to get out of my own way and quit self-censoring myself. And when I see a good news story, just cut a video. What people don't realize though is a 15-minute recorded video takes several hours to make by the time you edit it and upload it and all of that. But that's no excuse. It is going to get better, I guarantee you. I've just been running my tail off here lately. And man, this week was frustrating because I was off to a good start. I was telling a couple of people, hey, I think this is the week. I think this is the week I get back into it. And so close. I got one more bill I got to pay by the end of the month. That's $1,500. And then after that, should be smooth sailing. Travis Jones. Hey, Todd, it's random, but Jimmy Kimmel's Trump jokes are hilarious. I haven't watched Jimmy Kimmel in a very long time, but yeah, I like political humor on both sides. I saw some Joe Biden stuff that was funny. Occasionally, I'll see some Trump stuff that's funny. But yeah, maybe I'll have to check it out. Or if you got a clip, you can email it to me at todd@truckertodd.net. Red Raider Reloading channel member, I'm late. How y'all doing? I'm doing good. I know where Red Raider's at tonight. I'm not going to publicly say, but Red Raider, is it raining over there where you were either going to or at right now? It's coming down here. Mud Trucking, what's happening, Trucker Todd? I got my horn honker in the mail. Man, did it turn out nice. Skyhook did an excellent job. Thank you, guys. Yeah, that's for those that don't know, let me take this off so everybody can see the website. But it's I get probably a dozen requests a week to recommend products or services or things like that, and very, very few make it through to actually get on air for me to actually talk about. This headset's one. The tuggers that Skyhook Trucker makes, that's another. And so I'm glad that, oh, by the way, Paula, you can have yours now. I shot it in the video. But when he sent me the first batch, and he sent me a lot of them, like 8 or 10 of them, I looked them over. I showed them to my wife, to some family, and everybody had a positive reaction that saw them. And so that's why I wanted to just give a shout out to Skyhook Trucker about these. And like I said, I think there was an error on my part when I showed them. I think people thought this is all that's available. This is all I can get. But Skyhook Trucker has he's a very creative guy. He's been looking at other things, other types of customization. And if you've got something in your mind that you'd like him to create, I do recommend getting in touch with him and brainstorming with him and seeing what y'all can come up with. And like I said, he'll get with you on pricing and all of that. But I think you'll find it's pretty reasonable. The only thing that's unreasonable about it, and I'll be totally honest with you, is the shipping. The postal service is ripping us all off. And I mean, they're not that big. They're definitely not that heavy. They shouldn't be charging what they charge to ship those things. Anyway, enough of that rant. Channel member Robbie Ross. It's a balmy 36 degrees and foggy summer weather for the locals. Yeah, I bet. For those that just joined us, channel member Robbie Ross is in Minnesota tonight, and I was telling him I figured it was cold up there, and he was describing the weather conditions up there. Channel member Red Raider Reloading, have you gotten your GoPro cameras set up yet? So, a lot going on there too. Yes, I did set them up on the motorcycle, and I rode around the loop in Lubbock and was going to show that footage. And I got back, and I only had about 4 minutes of a video that should have been 30 minutes long. So I contacted Midlife Trucker, who sent me the GoPros, and I said, "Hey, what am I doing wrong? I've only got 4 minutes of video." And what the problem was, I shot it in too high of resolution, and he told me how to correct that. I was going to reshoot the video on the motorcycle, and then some other stuff happened. My wife's laughing at me. This question came up at the perfect time. She's laughing at me. So my pickup has a wastegate on one of the turbos that's acting up. It's also got some cam phasers that are acting up. They're under warranty. And now I've got a left front brake caliper that's either hanging, or I've got a brake pad up there that has come loose and is rubbing against the rotor. So anyway, since we were down to one vehicle, we decided it would be a good idea to get a second vehicle. I did trade the motorcycle in, and we bought my wife a car. So now we're back up to two vehicles again, and so I won't be filming a motorcycle run around the loop right now, but I'm looking for some interesting ways to use the GoPro. I may hook it to the truck and show some driving footage or something like that. Again, that's where your emails are so important. If you guys could email me ideas either for the GoPro or things you'd like me to talk about. Now, some things I want to say about the GoPro footage. In those videos, I'm not going to be talking. I'm not going to be answering questions. It'll probably just be video that's on mute, and then I'll dub music into it and put it on TikTok or something like that. Uh, I don't want to create any video that encourages distracted driving or that could get me in any kind of trouble. So you might notice anytime I do a video that I make sure I'm not driving and it's obvious I'm not driving. Usually I'm sitting in the sleeper of my truck or something like that. I'm here at the house, something like that. So Gary Cook says, What teams are going to the Super Bowl? I'm hoping for the Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs. Man, I almost said a bad word on air there. I told y'all, folks, my tongue is not working tonight. So I think we all agree it'll be the Kansas City Chiefs. I think the big debate will be, will it be Detroit or San Francisco? Um, at this point, I would really rather it be that it would be Detroit over San Francisco, but that'll be the game to watch. The real Super Bowl will be Detroit versus San Francisco, in my opinion. Skyhook Trucker channel member says, thank you, Mud Trucking. I'm glad that you're happy with it. Yeah, I haven't. Here's the honest truth. And we're talking about the Tuggers again. I haven't had anybody that held one or looked at one or purchased one that came back and said, man, Todd, these things are junk. I feel like I got ripped off. Or why in the world would you buy that? That's stupid. I haven't had none of that. Everybody that's got one so far has thought they were great. Everybody that I've handed one to and said, check this out, they're like, wow, this is pretty neat. So I think Skyhook's onto something here. And like I said, let your imagination run wild. I've told Skyhook privately that I feel like NFL colors would go really well. Maybe high school colors if we've got a lot of guys around here and gals in West Texas, Friday night lights, football, all that are big high school sports fans. So it wouldn't surprise me at all if sports colors were probably his most popular recommendations. And channel member Red Raider Reloading got his concealed carry permit for his bang bang. We can't say that word on this channel, but I think we all know what he got. And I thought he already had it. You'll be hard pressed to find somebody that knows more about these devices than he does. But I'm glad he got it. It's something I'm looking into, something I want, but I haven't got yet. And Mud Trucking, speaking to Skyhook, says, yes, sir. Thank you, brother. Now, this comment's funny. Biden wears diapers. I appreciate your sense of humor. He says, I got a good paying load of razor wire headed to Texas. Now, for those that don't know, Texas and the federal government are at odds right now. Texas lost in the Supreme Court and now has to allow the federal government in to cut some razor wire. And so Texas still hadn't let them in yet. And some other states are joining with Texas in opposition to President Biden and what he's trying to do. So Biden wears diapers, got him a good paying load of razor wire heading to Texas. I guess he's referring to the news stories, and he's replenishing the razor wire that will get cut at the border. P.U. Patel, have you heard more about the March 11th deal for 1099 drivers? Yeah, we actually talked about it in the last live show I did. Another driver that was at Prime came on, and I asked her about it, and she didn't know anything about it, and then tried to debate me on it. And I asked her to go read it and then come back to me, and I hadn't heard back from her since. But it's people that were safe before, and I'll just use Prime as an example. People that were safe before may not be safe now. It's my opinion that it's not going to matter. The ATA and OIDA and all of them, who are usually at odds with each other and disagreeing with each other, are opposed to this. And it won't happen on March 11th. It'll get held up in court. It could happen later in the year. It could take a few years. But what they want to do is get rid of predatory lease purchases, bad lease purchases that we would all agree is bad. And I'm kind of against it. I believe that we all have freedom of choice, and we have the option to work for a good company or a bad company. We have the option to sign a good lease or a bad lease. And admittedly, there's very few good leases. And if somebody wants to do that, then they should be able to do it. But and this is how I knew that she didn't read the law when and I hadn't read it all. It's 300 and something pages, but I kind of got the high points. Uh, she's like, well, I'm leased to Prime and their brokerage department is different. So technically they're my broker. And that doesn't matter on this new one that they've come out with. Again, I'm not a lawyer, consult a lawyer. I may be wrong. This is my interpretation as a regular old truck driver and a layperson. But it says that you can't, the company you're working for, you can't be an integral part of their business. Well, if the brokerage company is under the same umbrella, it may be a separate company, but it's still in the same building, and you're getting dispatched by your company, then you're an integral part of their business. Their freight doesn't get covered if you're not hauling their freight. Now I get it, they got company drivers, but they don't have enough to offset all the lease purchase they've got over there. So in my opinion, they're probably going to have to restructure some things to be compliant with this law if it goes through as it is right now. Now, in contrast to that, at SRO Logistics, I am not an integral part of SRO Logistics Company. I pull for 3 or 4 different brokers a week usually, sometimes 2, but usually 3 or 4. So I'm getting my freight from all over the place. I'm negotiating my own rate. So I'm not being paid a mileage rate. Nobody's dispatching me. And so I believe I'm safe where I'm at. And, but a lot of companies are going to have to analyze the way they're doing things and make sure that they're compliant with this law. If it does go through, I believe that, you know, after it ends up in court and gets thrown out and brought back and all this and appealed, that it'll be some time before we get the final version of this. Nathan says, hey, Todd, I'm going through Billings, Montana right now on my way to Yakima, Washington. I was looking at some loads to Washington earlier today, and one of them I really, really, really wanted to do, and the broker, when I looked him up, didn't pass the credit check, so I had to walk away from that one. Okay, Red Raider Reloading said where he was at earlier, so it's okay for me to say. Red Raider Reloading channel member says, yes, it was raining in Plainview back in Lubbock and picking up my second load. So it must be a pretty big rainstorm we're under right now, because it's like 45 miles from here to Plainview. Gary Cook, it's 65 here in Columbia, South Carolina. I'm reloading tomorrow morning, heading to Columbus, Ohio. I also looked at a Columbus, Ohio load today, and the broker was one of those you had to email. I shot him an email, and he never emailed me back, so I guess he had already covered that load. Channel member Red Raider Reloading plans on getting a GoPro for him to take to the rifle range. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. What'd be really cool is if you could figure out a way to mount it to your device, so you kind of get a POV view. And channel member Robbie Ross got fired up at Love's the other day. Do y'all know they charge a fee for using your debit card on a small purchase? Another way to hurt the trucker. Yeah, that's something I was thinking about as I was driving yesterday. It's all of these companies have figured out a way to take just a little bit of a piece of the pie. So they all complain about how expensive that freight rates are, but they don't. And to them, it's expensive, but they don't realize all the cost associated with it. And it's just you get nickeled and dimed to death. And what's worse, I'm with a company that doesn't nickel and dime me to death. But a lot of you guys, especially if you work for those Chicago area lease purchase companies, you're getting nickeled and dimed to death. So they go on Facebook and they make an ad and they go, "Oh, you can gross $10,000 a week," and then you get your paycheck on Friday and it's $800 or $1,200, and it's like there can't be $8,800 worth of overhead, and there's not. It's all manufactured fees and things like that, and it's just like. And you guys know, before we start this line of thought, I've been very supportive of Swift. I've said a lot of good things about Swift. But Swift, I was telling Scott about it one day. Swift has an over mileage fee if you go over 10,000 miles a month, and it's like 8 cents. And I was telling Scott about it one day, and he's like, "Why would they do that? That's counterproductive. It looks like they'd want you to run as many miles as you can." And I said, "Well, they say that, when you turn the truck in, it's going to have higher miles. The value will be less because it's depreciated. And they do apply it to your balloon payment if you decide to pay the truck off." And he was like, "Man, I can't believe companies would do that." And so, yeah, that's just another way to nickel and dime drivers. If you have a good month and you're starting to make some money, then the company you're working for hits you with an over mileage fee. But that statement right there is probably about to get me in trouble. We'll see. No, I already have a carry permit. I just bought a new carry. Ah, okay. So, channel member Red Raider Reloading just bought a new device, and he does not mean a cell phone. Good deal, man. Sorry I misunderstood you. Channel member Red Raider Reloading. Politicians are like diapers, always full of crap. Yeah, I agree. It it's I'm thinking about, and I'm going to bash on the Republicans here for a second. I know we normally don't talk politics, and Democrats too. They're both guilty of this. So they'll trash each other in the primary, and then when they lose, they're like, "Well, I'm going to go ahead and support him." So for example, they'll say, Trump's going to destroy the country," and then 2 weeks later, when their campaign's over, they're like, "I'm here to endorse Trump." It's like, why would you endorse a guy that you said 2 weeks ago was going to destroy the country? And same thing on the Democrat side. I can't think of the guy's name. They got a guy running. He got 21% of the vote in New Hampshire. And, he's talking about the Biden and all of this. And then we know Biden's going to get the nomination on the Democrat side. And as soon as he does, he's going to turn and go, "All right, I'm here to endorse Biden." And what I think they're doing, I think they're hoping to get a spot in the cabinet, maybe get a VP shot, something like that on the Republican side. Kamala Harris is going to be the VP still. They're not going to get rid of her, even though, in my opinion, they should. But anyway, that's enough politics. But yeah, that's pretty funny. Channel member Robbie Ross. I'm looking forward to seeing my Tugger. Skyhook made the process easy. Got it in gray and blue with special name. Thank you, sir. Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you for putting that comment out there, Robbie Ross. Uh, Robbie Ross and Mud Trucking, they both got custom ones. Uh, Mud Trucking got one in the colors of his company, and Robbie Ross got them in the color of his favorite sports team, which I think we all know who it is. And coincidentally, is the color of mine that I currently use in my truck. So, Robbie Ross also got some lettering on his. If like that pink one that I showed earlier that they did for my wife. If you've got somebody that's a cancer survivor or something, or maybe you lost a mother or grandmother to cancer, you can get their names put on one in little beads. And like I said, just get with Skyhook Trucker, and he can go over with you all the options and things that are available. But I think you're going to like it. Russell Freight, hey Todd, on my way to Missouri from Minnesota. That sounds like fun. I think Robbie Ross said he's up in Minnesota right now. And Russell Freight says he just now leaving the shipper. Michael saying good evening to everyone. Good evening there, Michael. And Gary Cook is doing power only with USA Truck, but leased to Advanced Trucking, is a broker for Advanced Trucking. Yeah, see, I think you're going to be okay. And again, I'm not a lawyer, and I admit I hadn't read all 300 and something pages of the law, but the things I've seen on it and the things I've read on it, I believe Gary Cook might scrape through on this one. He may be okay. I don't know the exact details of Gary Cook's deal, but definitely I think Gary Cook is safer than somebody that is lease purchased to a company that dispatches them. And of course, we'll see. Nothing is concrete yet. Yeah, there's a law. Yeah, it's supposed to start March 11th, but it's going to be in court. No matter which way it goes, it's going to be in court. Everybody's getting their lawyers lined up right now. Russell says he's on his second load for the week. Sounds good. And channel member Robbie Ross, way I understand it, I'll lease from a separate company and dispatch to another company. Plus, I do broker freight also. Yeah, but the way I understand the law, and that came from channel member Robbie Ross, uh, with the company you work for, uh, the dispatch side of it may get you in trouble. Because it's all, even though they're calling it separate companies, it's all under the same umbrella, and you are an integral part of their business. I don't know that for a fact. We'll see what happens. I just think it's too soon to start panicking about it yet. I think it's very reassuring that the ATA and OIDA are working together. They're not, normally they're on opposite sides of the table fighting with each other. But those two big lobbying groups on the same team, I think they're going to have some effect. And I don't think we should panic right now. P.U. Patel, did you see the reveal of the all new Volvo? It looks sharp. They went with a fully digital dash and push button start. I have not seen the video yet. You're the second person that's asked me to watch that video. Maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe I need to watch that video and do a reaction video about what I think about the new Volvo. That'd be a good one that I could get out here pretty quick, I think. Maybe release it Monday or something. And then we had some retracted messages. Then we got Red Raider reloading. See, my deals ain't matching up. He pulled his message, but I'm gonna read it anyway. Yes, I plan on using the GoPro as a POV. That would be cool. As Red Raider reloading channel member. A trucker named Tim, channel member, I just stopped fuel. I'm 840 miles away, or 841 away. I'll let you know when I get close. All righty, man. Be careful out there. My deal jumped. I'm trying to find where I'm at. Russell Freight, I did 4 loads, then came off of a 34-hour reset. And now I'm on my second for the day. Sound like you're putting the work in, man. That's good. Skyhook channel member, no problem at all. Robbie Ross, thank you again. Russell Freight, me and Road are leasing from the same place. You and Road. A trucker named Tim, channel member. I'd take them keychains and tuggers to a flea market or rummage sales. Yeah, one thing I did suggest to Skyhook, and I think they would do real good as fundraisers with schools and youth groups at churches and things like that. Red Raider Reloading channel member, I plan on using the GoPro to critique myself since I compete in MBRSA, which stands for National Bench Rest Shooters Association. Oh, yeah, you could kind of go back, have instant replay, kind of coach yourself. That's not a bad idea either. Okay, it doesn't happen very often, but we're caught up in the comments, so I'll remove all the comments for a second. That way y'all can see the website. We're coming up on the hour mark. If y'all got something you want to talk about, throw it up there and we'll get into it. If you don't, we'll probably cut out of here pretty quick. I got to do some laundry and things like that. Give y'all just a few minutes to type. Paula, where'd you go? Oh, okay. So just Stokin says, good evening, Todd. Hope you survived the bad weather last week. Yeah, so I was up in Colorado. Y'all know about all of that already. Um, and then I came down to Texas, and I've been staying down here in Texas, running around. And then I'm home for an unplanned time off. I was just going to go to the doctor and leave today, and now I'm still trying to find a loadout. But yeah, I'm out of the bad weather. I'm trying to stay out of it. I'm fixing to watch the Weather Channel a little and try to plan on what I'm doing next. But I hope you guys are out of the bad weather. I know there was some bad places across the country. Channel member Red Raider Reloading. What is the website for the tuggers? There's not a website yet. Eventually, they're going to end up on my website. We're putting a marketplace on there here real soon. So the best way to do that to get a tugger is to email John Toohey directly. And starting with the next video, I'll put him in the little ticker at the bottom of the screen. But for now, here's his website or his email. Skyhook, a channel member, put it up. It's John Toohey 1765 at gmail.com. I'm going to leave that email up for a few minutes, give you time to write it down. You can also pause the video if you need to write it down. And then when we get some more comments, of course, I'll take it down. But that way you'll have a few minutes to get it up there. I do see some more comments, and we'll get to those shortly. Just let's leave this up for a few minutes for anybody that might want to contact John Toohey with some customization ideas for his tuggers. You don't hide no more when you go by. Let's see here. All right. Hopefully y'all had time to get that. Like I said, if you didn't, pause the video and write it down real quick. Oh, we got to jump ahead here real quick. We've got a super chat from channel member Robbie Ross. Even though football season is over for me, many Cowboys up for big time NFL honors. Yes, they are. And I'm getting more Cowboys news now than ever in my feeds. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, um, big shout out to Robbie Ross. He's very, very supportive of the channel. And thank you for that super chat. I really appreciate it. Let's see here. P.U. Patel, looks like Cordell Truck Sales has good deals going, or they make it seem like it anyway. They keep popping up on my news feed. Um, yeah, I no longer recommend them, and it's not for the reasons you might think, but just some things they did at the time I think could have been handled better. Now, they were going through some growing pains. It's possible they're better now. It's possible that the ordeal with me and some other people, they learned some things and they're doing things differently. I did hear a positive thing about them today, and so I'm not comfortable recommending them, but um, for those of you that are interested, you can check out what they've got to offer. Avery is no longer there. He didn't feel comfortable working there anymore either. So um, just buyer beware. Check them out really good. Ask all the right questions. Check the truck out even better, and make a good informed decision. Anthony Hargrove, do you think independent truckers will? What do you think independent truckers will average this year with the rates the way they are? Well, it depends on what segment of trucking you're in. Are you tanker, flatbed, reefer, dry van? I can tell you in dry van, I've been doing very good lately, and I know that not everybody is. A lot of people are struggling right now, but I'm getting almost all my loads are above $2 a mile. I mean, 250 a mile. Some are over three. I had one that when all the dust had settled, it was around $5 a mile. So you can make money right now, but you got to be real picky on the loads, and you got to know where to run, where not to run, what to haul, what not to haul, things like that. Um, I know I was watching a stock market report this year or the other day, actually like yesterday or the day before, and they're predicting that 2024 is going to be a real good year for the stock market. So um, they said that the economy's better than we think it is, and I'm like, well, my bank account don't think so. But anyway, uh, I, I'm a natural optimist. It's going to be hard for you to ever come on here and get me to say, I think this year's going to be awful. I think we're all going to lose our tail. I'm just a natural optimist. And for me, things have been panning out, things have been going well. This doctor was killing me coming back for all these doctor's appointments. And so now that I'm free from him, um, I'm looking to have a lot better financials. Of course, we're all one big breakdown away from being done. And so some of it's going to depend on truck health and things like that. But overall, I'm generally pretty optimistic. Red Raider Reloading channel member got it. Thanks. No problem, sir. And Skyhook channel member says, no problem, Red Raider. Just stoking, you planning on going to Matt's this year? I sure hope I can. It really depends. I'll make a decision probably towards the end of February, and I know that doesn't give everybody a lot of time. Matt's just sent me an email on it the other day, but I do believe I'm probably going unless something uh, unless something happens to where I can, a big breakdown or something. But the plan is still to go. People don't realize when I go, it's pretty expensive for me to go. There's a hotel and there's a lot of dinners I get invited to and things like that usually. So we'll see, but I'm going to try to go. And I'll make an announcement as soon as something's finalized. And it may be finalized sooner than I want to. I'd like to finalize it by the end of February, For those that don't know, it's at the end of March. But if they say I got to get tickets or something sooner, I know registration. I forget when it said I had to register by like February 26th or something. So I may be making a decision sooner than I'd like to. Red Raider Reload and channel member Dak gets the Chicken Choker Award. All right. It's time, and he's joking, but it's time to talk Cowboys for a second. When you score 37 points in a game, when you throw for over 400 yards, when you have over 500 yards of total offense, you expect to win a game. When your defense gives up over 40 points, you expect to lose a game. Now, Dak is guilty of throwing 2 bad interceptions in the first half, but the second half happened and they came out and they were on fire. And if the defense could have held, they'd have still won that game. It was like, what, 27-0 at halftime? They scored 30 something points in the second half. So, we always want to focus on the quarterback and we always want to blame the quarterback. But I don't know that there's a quarterback that could win that game when the defense gives up 45 points in the playoffs. And maybe, we're all playing armchair quarterback, but the thing that none of us want to admit is that the defense couldn't stop the run. And we knew that going into that game. I had said, it's on video, I said before the game, if I was a head coach of a football team playing the Cowboys, I'd run almost every play because the Cowboys haven't demonstrated that they could stop the run. Except in this game, they demonstrated they couldn't stop the pass either. I mean, every time that Green Bay got the ball, they just marched right down the field. I think it was Green Bay. I've already drawn a blank. I've had a lot going on, folks. And Anthony Hargrove says Van. So Van is, like I said, he's asking me what I think the Van market's going to look like. I think it's going to gradually get better throughout the year. And there's a lot of reasons for that. We have a presidential election coming up, and Bill Clinton said during when he was running for office, it's the economy, stupid. And that's very true. People vote on the economy. So I believe the fix is in, and it doesn't matter if it's Republican or Democrat. They purposefully make gas prices go down and the economy get better right before an election. And so I believe we'll have the election in November. It's going to gradually get better from now to November because of the election coming up. After that, it'll get better for a few months. Doesn't matter who wins because the people that voted for whatever candidate wins will be excited. A lot of the economy is nothing more than attitude. If you've got a positive attitude, it does good. If you've got a negative attitude, it does bad. And I realize I'm oversimplifying it there, but that's a lot of it right there. Russell Freight, 1122 Pete. I will be paying it off. There you go. In October of this year, man, you ain't wasting any time. Red Raider Reloading channel member, there's a KWT 800 for sale by an individual in Abernathy. It sits by a house west of the Scales on Highway 54. I would be interested in that if I could. This deal I'm in with my truck, I'm locked in. I can't stray to another truck. So, but if anybody's looking for a truck, we can sure get Red Raider to tell you how to get there, but I can't deviate from the one I'm in right now. All righty, we have been going an hour and 10 minutes. I hate to wrap it up right here. If y'all got anything else, we'll keep it going. If you don't, I'm going to check out of here and visit with the wife. Gary Cook, has anyone leased a truck from Tell Leasing? My information's a little outdated. I can tell you what I know from a few years ago. When I worked at Roadrunner started using Tell for their lease purchase, and I wasn't overly impressed. They do have new trucks, they do have nice trucks, but uh, I feel like, my opinion, I feel like they micromanage you. You have a coach that calls you about how to run your business, how to run your truck, and maybe that's welcomed and needed by some guys. They also force you to use ATBS, and I guess that's great if you like ATBS. I guess it's not great if you don't like ATBS. I think it's wrong for them to force you to do your taxes with anybody. You should be able to use your own tax accountant, whoever. Maybe you've done lease purchase before and you've got a tax accountant you like already. I just don't feel like they should be going off in your finances like that. Their truck payments are kind of on the higher side. The trucks are kind of more of equipped on the basic side. They're all white, but I'm not knocking them because some people, maybe that's all you can do. Maybe that's the only way you can get a truck. But I do think there's much better options out there if you could save up a few $1,000s instead of doing the tail deal. Channel member Robbie Ross. I love my team. Dak's second half numbers are what I call fluff points. Packers pulled starters. The game was over. We played terrible on all sides. 2 pick six, special teams, etc. Well, that's a good point, Robbie Ross. And what I would say to that is the fact that we can debate what caused us to lose that game means that the whole team was bad. As you pointed out, special teams had their issues, offense had their issues, and as I pointed out, defense had their issues. And I think the media has done a pretty good job of pointing out the coaching issues. But the issue that nobody wants to point out is the owner issues. My opinion, the biggest problem with the Cowboys is Jerry Jones. And I read an article that said that Jerry Jones contacted Bill Belichick about coming to the Cowboys, and Bill Belichick turned him down because he knew that Jerry wouldn't let him run the team the way he wanted to run it. And so that's probably what saved Mike McCarthy's job. And I don't think Mike McCarthy's necessarily a bad coach, but I think you could swing a dead cat and hit all the problems that the Cowboys have. I mean, there's a lot they've got to fix in the off season, and they're going to lose several players like every team does. And so, yeah, it's just a mess all the way around for sure. Anthony Hargrove says he's leasing from SFI. How's that working out? Jay Fisher says, is there a third party lease company that you can recommend? Yeah, it depends how much down payment you've got. I've actually got several recommendations. Obviously, the more money you put down, the nicer truck you're going to get. A lot of them will work with bad credit, but you're going to need, 5 to 10,000 down to get a decent truck. Anthony Hargrove says, making it. Well, in this economy, that's all you can hope for. How long have you got till it's paid off? But back to this other question about third party leasing. HEC Leasing out of Nashville area, HEC. They have some pretty good deals. They have some trucks used for about 5,000 down, all the way up to some brand new ones. They've got Peterbilts, Freightliners, uh, and one more, I think. I think Volvos. I don't remember about that, but HEC, if you've got that 5 to 10,000, Accelerate Leasing, if you've got, they've got some as low as 2,500, but if you've got 5 to 10,000, you can get a pretty nice truck there. There's several options. Uh, Aero Truck Sales is kind of hit and miss. Sometimes they'll make you a good deal. Sometimes they want to tear your head off. Lone Mountain, sometimes they're good. Sometimes they want to tear your head off. Lone Mountain's going to want you to have a ton of money in the bank even after you make your down payment. So you just have to uh, keep those things in mind. Oh boy, I was hoping to avoid this question. Gary Cook, how's your truck doing? What's your fuel economy doing? So there's been some issues with the truck. And the short answer is I don't have accurate numbers right now. The and here's the reason. There's a twofold problem. We replaced the sending unit on the fuel tank and it started glitching again. But the bigger problem is it's sucking fuel from the driver's side tank a lot faster than it is the passenger side tank. Now I know I can still do the fuel up or the fill up thing and divide it by the number of miles I traveled and all of that, but I haven't been doing it. I've been trying to diagnose this fuel issue. Um, we've taken the lines off the passenger side, the return lines and everything, had them blown out. And for some reason, the other day, for example, I was bone dry empty and I was just going to fill up the right tank and it only held 25 gallons. Should have held about 80 or 90. So uh, it didn't drain hardly anything out of the passenger side. And I thought I was empty and I still had plenty of fuel. So I haven't ran the real numbers uh, just because I've been dealing with this other stuff. I also had an air leak that I've been dealing with. Um, and the other thing is, I guess it's a threefold problem. I've been in a lot of bad weather. I mentioned getting shut down in Colorado on I-70. So my idling and running the APU has been a lot more excessive than what it normally would be. And so I don't have any real world numbers for you yet. I hope to get that out pretty soon too as well. Gary Cook, Peterbilts are good for that fuel tank problem. Well, yeah, and this Freightliner, and when I took it to get it fixed, even when I went to buy the part, because I went to the Freightliner dealer to buy the part, the Freightliner parts guy goes, "Wow, I've never seen a sending unit like this." So it's just a little circle, and then it has a tube that goes down in the tank. There's no float on it. And basically, the way to explain it to you is put a straw in a cup and start filling it with water and put your finger over the top of the straw. And as water goes up inside the straw, it builds pressure. And that little sending unit measures the air pressure that's created as the fuel goes up the straw. And that's how it determines how much fuel is in your tank. I'd rather have the old float style. I think they're a lot more accurate, but it is what it is. And it was working fine at first, but now I'm having issues with it. But the engine, transmission, all that's been running great. I had a quick connect down inside the frame that was leaking air. I got that fixed. Um, I've had one blowout, but I ended up having to get two tires because the one beside it had four nails in it and wasn't repairable. But by the way, have y'all noticed that? I'm getting a lot more flats lately. It seems like there's nails and crap everywhere in these parking lots. People, clean up after yourself. Good grief. Trucker Todd, have you had issues with your brakes sticking in cold weather? I have not. Now, what I do, and it's the way I was taught to do it, is I don't set my trailer brakes when I first stop, because if there's water in the drum, and their 99% time is, they'll freeze. And so I set my tractor brakes, and then over the course of the night, usually after about 7 hours or so, the trailer brakes will run out of air and it'll pop the brakes at that time. But by then, the brakes are usually dry enough that they don't freeze up. But no, I haven't had any problems with brakes sticking. Have you? There's the website again. Make sure to check out that ticker at the bottom of the screen as well. I don't know where we're at in the thumbs up category, but y'all please give me a thumbs up. We got to get these videos out there. I'm going to give it a few more seconds if we don't get, because we're almost at the hour and a half mark. If we don't get a lot more comments, we'll probably check out of here pretty quick. Channel member Robbie Ross, brake sticking is usually driver error. Got to clear the lines when it's super cold, protect from freezing. Yeah, now I will say on older trailers, you used to could run that brake antifreeze through the lines and it would help a lot. But on newer trailers with these ABS systems, a lot of them recommend not using that stuff because it'll mess up the ABS systems. So, yeah, just get with your company, see what they recommend for how to take care of your air brakes if you're having problems with freezing up a lot. If they're okay with you adding additives or, clearing the lines like Robbie Ross says or something like that. I-65 southbound on Thursday through Indiana, there are numerous potholes, probably all that salt from that salt they had to use. Yeah, I've always been told that potholes are caused by water getting in cracks in the road, and then when it freezes, it expands. Of course, your car drivers, they say, "Oh, trucks do it," and so I think there's a lot of things that contribute to that. But I'm talking about all the nails and glass and stuff in parking lots, and it seems like I'm picking up a lot of nails and stuff lately. Just stoking. We had to spray alcohol in the airlines. Yeah, that we used to carry the little bottles of alcohol in the truck, and you would pour them in the glad hands. And but like especially the Swift trailers, it had stickers on a lot of them that said, "Don't pour brake additives in the lines; that it'll mess up the ABS system." And so, being on a public forum like this, I don't want to encourage anybody to do anything that might be a safety hazard to them or get them in trouble with their company or things like that. I would just talk to the maintenance department of wherever you're leased on to or whoever you drive for, and see how they want you to handle their trailers. If it's your own trailer, see what the manufacturer recommends for that year of trailer. I have to say things like that to keep myself out of trouble. Gary Cook, some of these potholes could probably swallow a semi. Yes, sir. Some of them, uh, and I'm thinking of a McDonald's in, I believe it's in Levelland or Littlefield. There's some potholes there that are so big that your tanks will bottom out. You have to drive around them. If you accidentally go through one, you're going to need a tow truck. And it's bad because the dirt lot where you park to go into the McDonald's, the pothole is like right in the middle. So when you're leaving, you've got to kind of swing around it to get out onto the street, and it's kind of an adventure, especially if it's been raining, it's muddy and everything else. I don't know why they don't just get some asphalt and shovel it in those holes, or even some good dirt. Anthony Hargrove, do a live negotiation with a broker one day. Well, I've got to be careful doing that because, for one, there's wiretapping laws, and it depends what state they're in if it's legal for me to record them. And the other part of that is if I tell them, "Hey, I'm about to record this call," they're not going to negotiate. They're going to hold the line because they don't want everybody to think they're a pushover. So those kind of videos are really hard to do without their consent, and I don't know how you get their consent and it not affect the call. But it's a great idea. I wish I could do it. Same thing. Some of you have asked me to show some load boards on screen and us go through how I pick a load and things like that. And some of those load board apps are considered proprietary, and I don't want to get myself in trouble. I got to be real careful when I do things like that. But some of the brokers that I'm pretty friendly with, I might could talk to them and see if they'd let me do that one day. I doubt real seriously they're going to let me do it. And since I'm running under Scott's authority and I'm acting as a representative of his company, I'd have to get his permission as well. So there's a lot of moving parts there that have to be okay with it before I can do it. All righty, there we go. P.U. Patel, bring Scott on alive. I've thought about it and may do it at some point. The problem is I already get accused of being a recruiter and a brown noser and everything else. I've been called everything but a white man. And if I bring him on for 30 minutes or an hour, I'm going to get accused of just trying to get referrals, just trying to get recruits, things like that. And but at some point we may bring him on. He's a pretty cool guy. I think he'd be a good interview. He and I have honestly never had that discussion. He knows I do the show. I think he watches sometimes, but we've never sat down and had a discussion about does he want to come on, what would we talk about, things like that. And we may we may do that at some point. Do you miss your Kenworth or do you love your Freightliner better? It's kind of like having two kids. I love them both for separate reasons. I am going to make a video about that pretty soon as well. The Kenworth was luxurious. I mean, it was that diamond tucked interior. It had the swivel seat. It had all kinds of goodies, air conditioned seats. It was smooth riding because it was a really long wheelbase. The Freightliner seems to be a shorter wheelbase. I really loved the Freightliner. I mean, the Kenworth. The Freightliner has its pros too. It's a shorter wheelbase. It's easier to get into places. The Freightliner holds a bigger TV. Quite honestly, the Freightliner's been more reliable. So there's a there's some discussion to come there. Honestly, the only reason I hadn't done that video yet was what we alluded to earlier. I want to get some more realistic fuel economy numbers, and then I can do something like that. I may get with Scott and see if see what it's showing on my IFTA reports because it'd be real easy to compare IFTA fuel numbers between each other and see what the differences are, and that'd help me go ahead and get that video out. But the truth is, I like them both for totally different reasons. And I've never been real brand loyal to any truck. I think the Peterbilts look the best. They might even be built the best. But some of the dealerships can make it a nightmare, I guess, for all the brands. Next truck, I'd probably get a Mack. I'm not a Mack, maybe a Mack or a Volvo. I like those trucks a lot right now. But this one, This Freightliner is the plan for the next 3 years anyway. Ideally, I'd like to get about 4.5 out of it. And it hadn't presented any real problems yet. The air leak was something you expect. And the fuel tank is a problem, but it doesn't keep me from running down the road. Gary Cook, do you pay for IFTA or does SRO pay for it? I pay for IFTA. Since I buy the fuel, I pay for IFTA. But that's a great idea. If you email him, suggest it. All right, the comments are slowing down quite a bit, and we're over the 1.5 hour mark. I guess I'm going to go ahead and step out of here. You guys have a great weekend. Who knows? If I'm in town, I may do another video this weekend. I may get bored and do another one. We got one more comment that we'll throw in here. P.U. Patel, Max have a very small cab. I would recommend getting a Volvo. Yeah, I've heard a few people say that, and then I had a guy tell me the other day he had a Mac and the sleeper was really big. I believe they have different cab configurations like all the manufacturers do, and I've got a lot of crap that goes in the truck with me, so cab size would definitely be a major consideration for me if I did get another truck later on down the line. Kid behind the wheel, missed it. Yes, sir. You got here at the last minute, but better late than never. And the great news is the replay will be going strong. I want to remind everybody regarding the replays. If you watch the replay, leave a comment and it'll still get to me, and I'll do my best to respond to it as quick as I can. I don't purposefully ignore anybody's comment. So watch the replay, and if you can, and leave me a comment there. You can do it as you're going through the video. If you have a question, or if I say something you like or disagree with, give it a thumbs up, give me a comment. That's always appreciated. Gary Cook says, go Detroit Lions. All righty. I got to admit, I'm rooting for Kansas City, but I wouldn't mind seeing Kansas City and Detroit go at it. All right, that's it, folks. I'm out of here. Thank y'all for watching. Have a great weekend. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.